Hey D, take two. Do
Hey,
you know do you know what a group of snails is called?
I do not.
Well, I was out on cleaning up some stuff on the back patio and I turned over this clay pot and there were four snails on the bottom of it. And I thought, I wonder what a group of snails is called.
So you Googled it.
I did. I did an online search. I won't say that it was Google. It might have been DuckDuckGo. Who knows?
Could have been.
So there were three
What is it?
choices. I cannot pronounce the one choice, but give
You
it a
want me to
shot.
pronounce it?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
I think it is Italian, but who knows? Escargot tiore, which makes sense because you eat escargot. Now, what are the other two?
A route or a walk.
Well, that's sort of like a cluster of spiders.
Okay. Anyway, I
Let's
learned
move
something
on.
new. So I hope you don't find a walk of snails chewing all over your plants.
I've had more snails this year, truthfully, than I have ever had because it was
I
so wet.
I can only imagine. Anyway, my phone
Norm-
went off, but I'm
normally,
ignoring it.
Normally, snails are not an issue here at all. But
Anyway,
this year they were, if you have hostas. But you know what? The deer already ate those, so it doesn't matter. Shall we
it
move
doesn't.
on?
We're going to start the episode for real now. Welcome to the Garden Angelist, where we try to chat about flowers, veggies, and all the best dirt. I'm Carol Michael from Indianapolis, Indiana. I have a suburban garden measured in square feet. It's about a third of an acre.
And I am Dee Nash from Guthrie, Oklahoma, where I still have a large garden out in the country.
We are Garden Angelists because we love gardening, and we want you to love it too.
Yes, we do. And we aren't afraid to tell all of our gardening secrets, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. But let's move on to this week's episode because we are silly today.
What is wrong? It's Sunday afternoon.
It must be
Um,
just, I don't know. I have no idea.
anyway,
Just been a fun day. I've had a
yeah.
fun day. It's
Okay.
pretty. The sun is shining. Is the sun shining there?
It is. Indeed,
I
it's
mean, it's
shiny.
time for garden updates,
You
so
can you can see the sun out on the
I
carpet there.
can. There you
All
go.
right. So last Saturday, I went back to the greenhouse to see. I decided I needed more pansies. Big
Uh-huh.
surprise. They had like one flat that was missing two, and they just gave them to me and said, "Here, just take them." They couldn't order anymore, and so I got the last of the pansies. And
Which one was it? What
oh,
kind?
it was just a mixed flat. Some of them weren't even in bloom, so it's like when you're going for the last one, you just grab and go.
Yeah, I've dealt a lot with pansies this fall.
I bet you have. Anyway, I sowed more lettuce seeds and picked a couple of tomatoes and a few radishes. I cut down the corn stalks. I cut off some seed heads for like northern sea oats that can be very aggressive if you let them self sow. And that Allium Millennium, because it also, despite them saying it doesn't really self sow, it does. The
Does it?
garden, a little bit. I looked it up on Missouri Botanical Garden and they said there's 50 to 70% viability in the seeds, but it's a hybrid, so it doesn't really matter. You want to cut those off.
Yeah, because it won't come back true.
No, it will not. The Garden Fairies wrote a blog post. I've been
Busy.
tending, huh?
You've been busy, and so have they.
Yes, I've been tending my microgreens and I got rid of the sprouts that I grew. They just kind of got yucky because I let them go a little bit too long. And today for lunch, I had a bunch of the sprouts or the microgreens on my salad. I've mowed and
Mm-hmm.
I took some cuttings
Sorry.
yesterday of the Swedish ivies that I had hanging in the front baskets. See if I can get them go through the winter. And finally, once and for all, I bought the mini bonsai Lego and I put it together. Three little
Good
mini
for
bonsai
you.
trees. Yeah.
Good for you.
And other than
Don't
that,
those
I
hurt
just
your fingers? They
not
hurt my
really.
fingers.
Not really.
Golly. I
No.
have more arthritis in my fingers, I think. Okay, so you want to hear about mine, or are we done? Are you
I
done?
do.
Because this went on a long time. There was a lot going
I'm
on.
very sorry to have been so busy and to have bored you with the details of my
You did
busyness.
not bore me.
What did you do this week, Dee?
Well, you'll be happy to know that I bought some pansies and violas.
I saw
I
on
plant
Instagram.
and I planted some of them. I didn't get them all planted, but I got the ones in the front garden planted, and now I've
Uh-huh.
got that one little section. And I pulled out all of my coleus in that section to have a place for the pansies, and so I'm going to do that tomorrow. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I moved some plants into the greenhouse. I kept things watered. I emptied a few pots because
Yes.
Not everything's going into the greenhouse. And I guess that's it. That's it.
That's not very much. You need to get busy, Dee.
Well, I have this video game I play, so just
Dee,
saying.
you said something, or I heard something last week or something about I've been too busy with this video game, and I thought, Dee, it reminds me of my mom back in the day when Atari came out. And
This is way, way, way more complicated than Atari. Trust
well,
me.
but we had I was still living at home. We had an Atari whatever, and it had Pac-Man on it. My mom wasted so much time playing Pac-Man back in the day.
I am doing world relations in this video game. My alliance is from all over the world, and we all talk to each other. It's awesome. It's very fun. It's not Pac-Man.
Okay, we're going to do the question of the week.
I thought we were going to play favorites first.
Yes, we are playing favorites first. I thought, well, we'd go ahead. I'm sorry. I jumped way ahead, apparently.
I can't stop laughing. You go ahead.
So my favorite this week is Three Little Wild Violets. So I saw Three Little Wild Violets, three different varieties blooming. And I thought, just one more time, just one more time, just one more bloom. And so that was it. And one of them, I shouldn't say this, it was in the common area up front, and it was one of those ones that's got a little bit of white streaking in it. It's called a
Yes,
Confederate
yes.
violet.
Uh-huh.
And I might have tried to dig that out with my little bare fingers and take it home and plant it in my garden. Maybe. I'm not saying I did. And I'm not saying that I didn't. But
That's okay. I took cuttings of mizu off of a pot because I know it's going to die in a couple of weeks. And I was
yeah,
like, I'm taking some cuttings home. I never do that. But it was a big commercial pot. I took it off the back. They'll never know. All right,
no.
keep going.
Okay, your favorite
Basically,
this week.
we're both thieves. Great.
Well, no,
Um,
this was in the common area where they have grass growing and they don't really like to have weeds. And so I thought I'm just doing my part to remove this weed. That's what I was doing. I don't know about you
sure.
all. What's your favorite?
Whatever. My favorite is the blue and white pansies I bought this week. They are really pretty.
Yay.
They're very pretty. So I'll take a picture of them. I
Okay.
need to get them in the ground. Their little blooms are shrinking because, you know, they've been in the pots so long. So they need to get up. They need to spread their roots. All right. Question of the week. I'm going to read it.
Okay.
You're going to give the answer. All right. It is from Carol's older sister. How do I keep chipmunks from digging in my containers on the front porch? Good luck. Go ahead, Carol.
Well, my first thing was you give them a stern warning.
Yeah, that'll work.
Well, you can. There's three things. And she tried cayenne pepper sprinkled around. She said that didn't do a thing. So you can put flat rocks around the plants so there's less places for them to dig. You can also
They
try.
like that soil.
Yeah.
They like the softness of it.
You can try a deer type deterrent spray.
Yeah, you could do that because it's got predator stuff in it like blood and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah, you could try that.
And then I said you could try to put forks sticking up out of the pots so but forks is always the answer.
In Carol's garden, yes. You could also take some chicken wire and put across the pots. You know, like, because I do that when I plant bulbs in pots. Could do that. You know what else she could use? She could sprinkle plant skid out there. I thought of it the other day. I
It
can't
smells
use it.
bad.
It smells terrible, but it works.
And it's on her front porch.
Well, that's true. It doesn't smell after a little bit, though. Just
No, not after a little bit. So anyway, and then, yeah, it's a problem. Anyway, I also exchanged emails from a listener who was asking about the stones I have around my bird feeder where it's kind of like flower petals. Got her all sorted out on. I got mine at Menards. I found the spot on the link on Menards and circled the picture of the stone that I got and sent that off to her. And so anyway, got that all sorted out, as they say.
Yeah, good for you. All right, moving on to the insect of the week, because I'm going to be serious now. I'm not going to laugh so much.
Okay.
I don't know what my problem is. It's been a fun day. All right, insect of the week. And you wrote, can we do woolly worms? Because that fits in with our phenology topic. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Which is the theme of,
It's your podcast.
And your podcast. I have to ask permission.
No, you don't. Not for me, you don't. Okay, so what about them? What about woolly worms? What do we want to say?
So you see woolly worms this time of year, and so this is They have the black and the rust color. The
Yeah.
the black's in the middle. But anyway, the old wives' tale, I guess you would say, is the width of that black band will predict what kind of winter you're going to have
Supposedly, right?
supposedly. So the
Mhm.
wider that black band in the middle, the more severe the winter is going to be.
And this also ties in with spider webs because supposedly bigger, thicker webs also mean that wind is coming or bad weather or whatever.
Right.
We don't have any facts, audience. We're just telling you it's a folk thing.
Now, here's something I would say about that woolly worm, and I
Yeah.
would say this about any caterpillar.
Don't touch it,
Never, ever, no, do not ever touch a caterpillar. They,
especially fuzzy ones.
yeah, because that
I
can
mean,
get
you
messed
can
up.
touch monarch caterpillars. They're fine. You can touch
Tomato hornworms,
swallowtails, tomato hornworms, but those fuzzy ones, don't
do not
touch those
touch.
because
They
a lot
can
of
cause
they
them.
have
Yeah.
stinging hairs. Speaking of things we do not touch, this is our second bug of the week. The
Yes.
assassin bug. This came up on actually came up on the chat with all of my coworkers at the nursery. Someone found this bug at their house and they said, "What is this bug?" And two of us went, "Don't touch that bug." It's a wheel bug, an assassin bug. I call it an UGG bug because I don't like them. They're a generalized predator and they're, you want to hear their Latin name? It's Aurillus cristatus. And I imagine that's because it's kind of a cristatus wheel on the
Right.
back, but they
Right.
bite. And so they're natural. They eat everything in the garden. They're a generalized predator. They eat a lot of butterflies. They eat a lot of moths. They really, really like those little skipper butterflies. Those seem to be especially tasty to them.
Ugh.
And I have them in my garden pretty hard some years. They're not my favorite because they all bite if they, and their natural, I keep, my head's saying indication. That's not the right word. Their natural tendency is to fall to the ground if they're disturbed. Well, if you're weeding right under them, you'll get bit because you'll accidentally pinch one. And I've been bit 3 times in my 36 years of gardening. It's not my fave, not my
No,
favorite.
and
It
this
hurts really
reminds
bad
me.
and it makes your fingers swell up for a really long time. So, not a big fan of this bug. It also flies as an adult. And I had a friend that flew down her dress when we were at a garden thing and it bit her and it was bad. Now, and the last time I was bit by one, I was doing some frantic weeding right before we went to England.
Ugh.
And
I remember
yeah,
this now.
yeah, remember this? And so it bit me on my ring finger, and so I couldn't wear my wedding ring for 2 weeks. And I was like, come on, man. So they're not my favorite. Anyway, what would you like to say about them? Anything?
Well, there was a headline, I guess, maybe it was clickbait that said that they were deadly.
Oh, I don't think so.
So I looked it up, and here's the search assist from DuckDuckGo. Some species of assassin bugs can be dangerous to humans, particularly the kissing bug, which can
Oh, yeah.
transmit Chagas disease, a potentially fatal illness. However, most assassin bugs are not deadly, and their bites, while painful, are generally not
Extremely.
life-threatening.
No, I would not say yeah, the kissing bug is a big deal. That one's bad. So
Yes.
anyway, that's our bugs of the week, insects of the
Yeah.
week.
Basically saying those woolly worms, don't touch them. Those assassin bugs, run the
Don't
other way.
don't touch them.
I will do a quote. I wish that every day was Saturday and every month was October. Charmaine J. Ford, whom we've quoted a lot lately.
We have, and she has good quotes. What can I say? All right, flowers. Oh, we're gonna circle back to snapdragons.
We
Go
are
ahead.
because Teresa Byington, our friend from the Rose Chat podcast, she sent us a really long text and she had some information about some snapdragons that she also grows. And
It was
she
really good
also,
info.
yeah, she uses the winter sowing method to grow a lot of these. She said the butterfly series that she had does not bloom as profusely as the rocket series.
Hmm.
And she uses that black mesh grid like you do to keep her rockets upright.
Well, the reason she uses the same one I do is because she told me about it. So
Oh,
so my point, so she was very gracious on that text, but the truth is she's the one who told me to buy it. And you know why I like it? Because it doesn't show up like white does.
yes.
All right, keep
So
going.
she gets a lot of her seeds from Johnny's for her snapdragons. They're a sentimental favorite because children love them.
Because they,
And she says she
yeah.
loves our podcast. And it was lightly raining when she wrote that, and she hoped it rained all day. And I will tell you that that was on Monday.
Did it
And
rain
it
all day?
was, no,
I didn't think so.
I got a quarter of an inch between Sunday night and Monday. I got a
That
quarter of an
hardly
inch.
counts.
It doesn't. But I have another person I follow on Instagram that I've met who she and her husband are farmers down in Franklin, Indiana. They
Mhm.
had to stop harvesting because they got like 3 inches. I'm like,
Isn't
three
that
inches?
weird?
That's
That's
not
like
that far
Oklahoma
away.
weather. It's bizarre. Yeah. Well, there you go. So, is that our flower topic, or are we going to talk about another flower?
We're not talking about we're talking
Oh,
about
that's right.
flowers
I
in
forgot.
general.
I forgot we were going to talk about this. Yeah. Cool.
So the topic is really the phenology, which is the study of the timing and cyclical patterns of events in the natural world, particularly those related to the annual life cycles of plants, animals, and other living things. We're mostly going to do plants. It's
Because
like,
that's what we do.
yeah, it's like when things bud out in the spring, when things first flower, when you get your first ripe whatever. And so,
Does it also have to do with day length? Like,
well, yeah, well, day length can affect when certain flowers bloom, which
right. Because
is
I have
what,
a hibiscus that is purple leaves
yes,
and it blooms in the greenhouse in winter because it has to do with day length.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And
Keep
so
going.
Native Americans and also old time gardeners, they really kept track of things more than we do
You
because
think?
that was really their manner of survival. Like if they went out on a warm spring day and planted the crop and then they got frost right after that, is like, they might starve because that was their seed. And so
Hmm.
they look for the signs from nature that tell them like, hey, we're going to be frost free now, or hey, it's going to rain now, or best be getting on with things because it's getting towards fall. They all
Hmm.
kind of do that. So
That's really cool. I like that term, phenology.
so we'll link to the National Phenology Network where you can sign up to be an observer, and they have them for all states. And then there's actually a website for Indiana where they keep track of when things happen and people kind of compare notes. And
That's
then
cool.
I was thinking about all the signs of nature that we have little sayings about.
We have a lot. And also, you know what I was thinking of was like the moon, because there's a lot of stuff to do with the moon and
There
pulling
is.
in all that kind of stuff, which has to be part of this thing too.
It
So
is. It
tell us
is.
your little phrases.
So I found a couple that I didn't really know. So like when we were kids, if we were driving out in the country and the cows were laying down, my mom would always say, "It's going to rain. Cows are laying down." But
Did it work?
I don't know. Then the other one is when sheep gather in a huddle, tomorrow we'll have a puddle. So it's going to rain, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to need some sheep.
Yeah, we need some sheep here too. We are in big trouble.
And then it says, if autumn leaves are slow to fall, prepare for a cold winter, one and all. And I'm like, oh, we are having a slow leaf turn this year. I hope it's not cold.
We are too. Ours is very slow, and the leaves are starting to fall in just like ones and twos. It's very odd. I'm afraid it's going to be
Plan
cold.
for a cold winter, one and all.
Well, you know what? We didn't have a cold winter last year, but we had a really cold spring. So who knows? I don't even understand the weather anymore. All right. So, what are some of the we track in our own gardens? Oh, some of the things we track. You know what? That's funny because the phenology that have in my garden is all related to that blog. And the whole reason I started the blog was to keep track of things because I really am not good about I'm not consistent. That's just my personality.
Well, and yeah, I do the same thing. And obviously that Garden Bloggers Bloom Day, that yeah, gives you like a once a month check-in. And you can go back, I can go back and compare for almost, I don't know, 16 years worth, 17 years worth. But one of the things is when you start tracking it and like writing it down, like if
Hmm.
somebody had asked me when the crabapple out front blooms, When does that bloom? And I would have said, oh, I don't know, early May. It actually usually blooms around the middle of April, around April 15th.
Isn't that interesting? Because when you keep track of stuff, you realize that you're not exactly accurate in what you
Yeah.
think. You know what I mean?
And the first crocuses in the back lawn,
Mm-hmm.
I start looking for those as early as late January because I know from past experience that's about when they would come along. Now, from a phenology perspective, what I
Uh-huh.
really should do is go back and say, when did a first crocus show up? And then what was the weather like for like the time before that and after that? Maybe I could be a better predictor of when the first crocus is going to come up
Right.
because it can vary by month to month.
Yeah, it
So,
can. I was trying, the reason I look distracted is I'm trying to turn on Do Not Disturb on my Mac. It's
okay.
not working. I turned it on my wrist, and sometimes that helps, but and sometimes it's my phone, but my phone's in the other room.
So
So,
the other thing is, I always thought that the fall crocuses,
yeah,
I was like, I always think, well, they've surely died out now because I don't see them. And then after a couple of years of that, I realized that they bloom around Halloween.
that's really cool.
So they bloom rather late. So first ripe fig, first ripe tomato. Is there
I don't
anything you look
care.
at in your garden, Dee, and you say, well, this thing is blooming now. I can do this.
No,
You don't. So you don't. You don't think about that. Now I can do this because now you just
no.
look at a calendar.
I
But
just
it
know. I mean, I've just been here all my life, and so I just know. I don't know. You mean like when can I plant a tomato? I watch the weather. I just watch the weather and see, how many more days are we going to have that are too cold, that are under
now,
the 50s?
but Dee, if you didn't have the weather and you were sitting out there off grid, how would you know it was not too soon to plant your tomatoes? You'd have to look for a sign from nature.
God help me.
Well, there was one, and I don't know the
I am never
exact.
going to be off the grid if I can help it. I'm just going to.
Well,
I
it's
like
like,
being on the grid.
like our Native Americans would look at the size of leaves coming out on a
Yes.
tree, for example, and then based on the size of the leaf coming out
They
or how
know what
big
kind
it,
of summer they were going to have, right?
well, they would know when to plant the corn.
Oh,
So
that makes sense. Okay,
that's the
here's
kind of
one.
thing.
Here's one. I have one. One. You ready?
Okay.
I watch the leaves on my trees. I watch my oak trees, my native oak trees, not the
Yes.
trees that I planted from Asia,
No,
the
they won't
native
work.
oak trees. No, they won't work. I watch them and I watch for that green haze. There's a green haze that the trees get right before they open up their leaves. And
Right?
it's always the oaks that are the last ones to open. And usually we don't have a freeze after that. The oaks are hard to fool. Now, the elm trees, they're a hopeless mess. They just
There
get
you
out those
go.
leaves early and cause all kinds of problems for themselves. Are you happy now? I came up with one.
I'm happy now. And so I think with that, we just
We can
encourage
move
people
on.
to keep track of when things happen in your garden and relate it to other events. And it's interesting to see how people did it before they had calendars and stuff.
I think people did a lot of stuff by the moon signs too,
Yes,
about
they did.
planting and stuff.
Yes.
So there you go. And by the way, the moon was gorgeous 2 nights ago. I even noticed it. And you know how
Huh.
I am about
You
about
never
stuff
look
in the
up.
sky. I
I know
never look
that.
up. I know. My
All right.
husband, my daughter came over last night, and my husband they were talking about something to do with he was showing a picture of the moon. I said, yeah, it was really beautiful 2 nights ago. And my daughter looked at me and she goes, you noticed? I said,
Do that quote for the vegetable topic.
October is a fallen leaf, but it is also the wider horizon, more clearly seen. It is the distant hill once more in sight and the enduring constellation above them once again. That's funny. We just talked about the moon constellations. That's Hal Borland.
That is. That is. Okay.
Hmm. He's pretty cool.
Yes. The vegetable topic is how to layer up in the fall to prepare a vegetable garden for the spring.
And it's a great topic. I like it.
Thank you. So
I mean,
Ruth
Carol did all the hard work on this week's episode. So Ruth Stout
Ruth Stout.
wrote How to Have a Green Thumb Without an Aching Back. It came out in 1955. And that is one of the best, fun books out there, especially it was way ahead of its time.
Okay. So I decided this, I have a busy week coming up because I am speaking on Monday, I'm speaking on Tuesday, and the Lost Lady is supposed to come out on Wednesday. So it's done. I finished it. And I decided to
Okay.
do Ruth Stout because I thought, well, she'll be easy. Everybody knows who she is. I'll just blah, 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 mention her. Oh my God, Dee, this woman was nuts. Sorry.
She is nuts, but she's
She was
awesome.
crazy. She's absolutely crazy.
And that book, have you read that book? Because that book is kind of
No,
crazy.
but and this will be in my Lost Lady that's coming out the same day of this podcast. There's a YouTube video of a 1975 interview with her.
Oh, wow.
She's nuts.
I haven't seen
Plus,
that.
there's an article in New Yorker magazine from March of this year, and I read it on my library Libby app. This woman gardened in the nude.
Oh, she was one of those.
Oh no,
She was Rex Stout's sister, you know.
yeah, for a while she was a communist, for a while she was a socialist. She didn't get married till she's 45, but she put a lot of living in there.
So,
She
so you're telling me that you probably won't read that book.
No, I wouldn't mind. I would read
It's
that
a great
book.
book. It's really good. And she's
Yeah.
funny.
And I think that her book Gardening Without Work, I think that's what it's called. She had like
Uh-huh.
3 books on the topic, and then she had several other books, by the way. But anyway,
Not
she's quite
garden
a character.
related.
And her garden, I suspect, was a mess because she basically just layered up old straw or old hay and anything else from the garden. She just dropped it on the ground. And then to plant, she just dropped her seeds right onto the hay and then just covered it up and
Basically, it was a
on.
compost pile. She had compost
Exactly.
all over her garden that she created, and she grew in it. And she put a potato down. I remember the book really well. Yes,
Well, you
you're
need to
absolutely
go.
right.
We won't put the video. The video link will be in my Lost Lady article. But
I
anyway,
can't wait. I'm going to go watch it. That's funny.
my
So,
yeah, well, she's about
mo-
91 in the video, just to show.
I bet she was crazy as a bed bug. Okay, so then we're going to move on to our friend who is not crazy,
Pat
Pat
Lanza.
Lanza. Pat Lanza is one of the nicest people you ever met on the planet. And we met her at GardenCom, although back then it was Garden Writers.
Right.
And she calls this same method lasagna gardening. And she wrote
Yes.
several books about it, spoke on it. I mean, she had the busiest career and did really well. So things have changed a lot, though. And we now know things we didn't know when Pat was doing a lot of her work, right? Would
Exactly.
you
Well, and
say?
so Pat had, I would say, a more structured approach where you would layer in,
Yeah,
she would put down something like cardboard and then grass clippings and leaves, and she would kind of create a lasagna method. And then
right,
you let it kind of go all winter and it decomposes and the worms and everything move in, and then you can plant into it. And
right.
she just didn't want to have the hard work of trying to plow up her garden every year.
Which would now nobody really, I mean, not nobody,
No,
because
with
somebody will,
raised beds and stuff,
most
it's
people don't do
yeah,
that anymore. And we
right.
all kind of do a version of lasagna gardening because we put more compost on top of our raised beds or whatever. But that brings us to the next topic.
Cardboard, yay or nay?
Nay,
Nay.
triple nay. And we're going to get a lot of information. I mean, a lot of people are going to reach out and talk to us about this and say, but I want my cardboard because we have so many boxes now from Amazon and other
Right.
places. So, what do you want to say about it? I mean, Garden Professors has written, it's their most read post is about
Linda
cardboard
Chalker
in the
Scott would
garden.
tell you yes. And she'd say no because for 2 reasons.
It's not just
Um,
cardboard anymore.
it's not just cardboard anymore. And you talk about a lot of the cardboard is made out of recycled materials, and you really honestly do not you're not just getting pure paper that's made into cardboard. And so it has a lot of forever chemicals, they say. You just don't know what you're adding to your
Well,
soil.
yeah, and they spray stuff on it in order to get it to not get too wet when your package is coming to you. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. It's not the cardboard we grew up with.
No. And then, you talk about spraying it, not getting it too wet. When that cardboard is on the soil, the soil below does not really breathe, so to speak. There's no
Mm-mm.
air exchange, gases exchanged like you want. And so it can really create sort of a nasty situation beneath that cardboard.
Right. sort of like plastic
Yes.
or landscaper's fabric.
Plastic and landscapers fabric. Now, nobody in their right mind would add those to a lasagna garden or to layer to decompose. But they often put it on there and then put mulch on top and then make little holes to dig stuff in. And it's like, no, don't be doing that.
It's
That's
not good for your plant's roots because there is no
no,
oxygenation.
no,
And
no,
the soil
no.
beneath it dies. And then you end up, and not only that, you don't prevent weeds. You prevent them for the first year or so, and then seeds blow in and it becomes a problem.
Yeah. So,
So, what
arborist
should we do
chips, grass
instead?
clippings,
Hmm.
leaf mulch. A lot of people will, I mean, it almost is crazy to think people send their leaves out with the trash and
Yeah,
then buy mulch in the spring
they
because they
do.
just want that look of perfection. It's like I just been grinding my leaves up and just putting them right back on the beds. And I haven't bought
I
mulch in
used
several
to.
years. Yeah, you
I
don't
used
now
to.
because you got a different situation.
I have a different problem in Oklahoma because of the ticks, but the Lone Star ticks. But I do use arborist chips, which are free.
Yeah, you can get
If
them
you
for
if you
free.
know a landscaper, I mean, you might not get them the day you want them. So think ahead, and you
Yes,
have to have a place to put them. And I'd also say cotton burr holes, cotton burrs.
you
Those
cannot buy that in Indiana, but
I know, but you can in Oklahoma and Texas. And they're really good too. They'll break up your soil really fast. So there are ways to lasagna straw. Straw is good, not hay, straw, because straw has fewer seeds in it.
she used hay. Ruth Stout did.
Which, I mean, it was a long dang time ago.
Yeah,
It was before I was born, even.
it was in the 50s. But the
Yes.
other thing that's closely related to all of this is
Pine needles.
hugelkultur,
Yes, hugelkultur is the new trick pony.
the
It's
new old
a
method.
The new old method. That's right. I get a lot of questions about hugelkultur. It's
So
really popular on YouTube.
we first saw it when we were in Pasadena in 2015, I think it was.
Yep.
And basically, make a big mound out of like wood, chopped up wood from trees and stuff. And then they just start putting layers on top of that. You create a mound and it kind of gradually decomposes. But the
Hmm.
woman, remember that docent, she swore that in the midst of that Los Angeles drought, they did not have to water their hugelkultur mounds. She said they were fine.
That's cool. Neato.
And then, like, you
Bandito.
have those big containers for your garden, those Vigo
Hmm.
beds.
Yeah,
They're pretty deep.
a lot of people use hugelkultur for it. I don't because okay, so the other aspect of that is when you put all that potting soil on top of the stuff that you've put in the bottom, it doesn't drain the same, and I want it to drain evenly. But that doesn't mean any. I mean, here's what I do not care. People can do culture if they want to, but you know what? If they don't want to, that's okay too.
Now, my sister did it. She built some big raised beds out of cement
Hmm.
block and she put old wood in.
Yeah, like
And I
sticks and stuff.
said, here's the thing though, as that decomposes and rots, your bed is going to keep sinking. And she was putting strawberries in one. And I said, you'll eventually have to dig your strawberries out and add more dirt because it's just going to keep decomposing and sinking
That's
down.
really good advice, Carol, because that's a perennial vegetable, perennial fruit. And unlike, you could do a crop that is annual in there really easily, but yes, it wouldn't work so well for perennials.
All right. So that's enough about soil preparation. Everybody use your leaves. Don't send them out with the trash. Don't use
Don't
cardboard.
use cardboard or newspapers
You know
because the
what?
ink
And Dee,
not good
it's
either.
coming up in my talk tomorrow night. I'm going to say don't use cardboard
Or newspapers or
or
magazines.
none of the above.
Mm-mm. None of those.
No,
They
it's
don't.
well, and I laugh when you say don't use newspapers. Who
You
gets a
aren't going to find any
newspaper?
anyway. My
Who
husband,
gets
but
a
that's
news?
it. Nobody else does.
My neighbor
Um,
does, but I
your
don't know
neighbor get
anybody.
one? I was thinking more like the flyers that come. They have the shiny paper. Don't
No.
use those.
Yeah.
Okay. Quote.
You don't waste October sunshine. Soon the old autumn sun would bed down in cloud blankets, and there would be weeks of gray before it finally decided to snow. And that is Catherine Arden in Small Spaces. That is true.
That is very true. Someone asked me the other day, what is the weather like in Oklahoma? He's from England. And I said, it's about as beautiful as it can get. October's our best month, I would say. Blue
Yeah.
skies, leaves are
Same
just
here.
starting to turn. It's beautiful. So there you go. Ready for our book?
All right. The Literary Garden, Imaginary Gardens of Writers and Poets by Sandra Lawrence, illustrations by Lucy Clerk. We
Pretty.
asked for review copies of this from our friends at Quarto. This is from the Francis Lincoln imprint. And Dee, what did you think?
I love it. I
It's
think it's
delightful.
beautiful.
And
Just
so
beautiful.
we have some other Sandra Lawrence books, and if I had, I was going to look up which ones I had because I know we have some.
We do.
Um, but she has done like a little essay or little descriptions about all the different gardens in literature. She's got the Secret Garden. Obviously, you couldn't do that book without
Obviously.
doing the Secret Garden. And
Right.
she's got several that I've never heard of. She's got Elizabeth and her German garden.
I
The
just
other
turned
one,
to it. Page
Rebecca
46.
from
Uh-huh.
Daphne du Maurier. That one's
More.
interesting.
Yeah. Muir.
Anyway, but it's go
Yeah,
ahead.
because that garden's in bad shape in Rebecca, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in bad shape. Rebecca is one of my very favorite books. Did you know that?
No.
It's
The
worth a
garden is
good read every, you know. I just watched I sent this to you, the part about the Halloween party by Agatha Christie. The garden in
uh-huh.
it plays a huge role. And we just watched the Hercule Poirot piece on it. It was one of the old episodes because they're doing a thing with BritBox this month about Halloween. And it's all the different shows and their Halloween episode.
Yeah.
And this one says this is Miss Marple. So it must be that this is a different one, but they were also having a Halloween party. They were playing that creepy game and the garden figures in it too. It's a great book. Sorry.
Yes, it is. It says, join Sandra Lawrence on a tour of 30 charming gardens created by the imaginations of great writers and poets from Daphne du Maurier. I probably say that wrong,
Do you
Dee.
want me
And
to help you
Virginia.
with that?
No, I want to just let it go. Virginia Woolf,
Demure.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Oscar Wilde. Discover secret gardens and hidden wonderlands, mythical labyrinths, and feminist retreats, gardens full of magic, adventure, and mystery. And it's very, very wonderfully illustrated. And I like it. This is why we have Sandra Lawrence's book. She has written over 20 books and many articles on gardening. That's why.
That's why.
That's why.
Very, very smart lady. It's a
So,
beautiful book. It would be a great gift book for someone who just loves gardens, but it would also be one who loves great literature.
yes. And I was just going to say, I think this, for Garden Club, I'm responsible for something about books. And so I thought, well, you know what? I am going to take this book to.
I think you should. Did you ever read A Tree Grows in Brooklyn? Have we ever talked about that?
You have talked about it. I have not because you said it was kind of a tough read.
It's a tough read, but it's good. I'm glad I read it. On page 100, she's talking about
Yeah.
literary plants, and the first one is there's a tree that grows in Brooklyn. Some call it the tree of heaven. That's from A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith, 1943. And tree of heaven, of course, is invasive as all get out. And we've talked about that before, but I think that's great. It says authors have often used individual plants or varieties to lend specific vibrance, emotion, and analogy to their worlds. Oh, I love this book. It's beautiful. Went
Yes.
with me to bed tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. And that just reminded me of, and I don't think she did this particular one. I'm just double checking. No.
Tell us what it is.
Rumor Gardens, an episode of Sparrows with those little kids planting
Oh
all
my
those
gosh,
seeds
yes. Planting
and
the
then
seeds all over their bad neighborhood
in the ruins and stuff. But
in the
anyway, it's a great
ruins.
book. The Literary Garden, Imaginary Gardens of Writers and Poets by Sandra Lawrence. And we want to thank Quarto Press and Francis Lincoln for sending us review copies.
We love the Francis Lincoln books.
Yeah, we do. They're always well done.
They're extremely well done. All right, next quote. In October, a maple tree before your window lights up your room like a great lamp. Even on cloudy days, its presence helps to dispel the gloom. That's by John Burroughs. I think my glasses, oh yeah, they're a mess. And that's, I can't see the quotes.
Anyway,
I'm sorry.
so
The
far dirt.
dirt.
I I found this new term via a Substack, and it's called cramscaping. Cramscaping.
That would be my garden style, probably. Just
Yes,
cram it
and
in there.
basically, once people hear the term, then they've like, yeah, that's my garden. And so they kind of traced it back to our friend Lori Bowe, who wrote Fearless Gardening, Be Bold, Break the Rules, and Grow
Yes.
What You Love.
Yeah.
There was a reference to it in there. She says she didn't coin the term, and she heard it described somewhere, probably at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, she thought. But anyway, cramscaping, I just thought was a fun term. And so
It
we'll
is.
include a link to this article about it. And then people can read and decide, are you cramscaping? Like, can I get one more plant in here?
I used to be that way. Not so much anymore. I can't get anything else in here. This place is crammed full. All right. And then I liked how you wrote, see also horticulture. That's funny.
Yes. HOARDI. No, it's not funny, D, because
It's terrible.
when you look it up as a gardening term, it doesn't exist, but it's really about hoarders. And then,
Sure.
don't go down that rabbit hole.
Oh, it's
But
gross.
but
No, nobody
anyway, I
wants to
thought
do that.
cramscaping was a great term.
That is a great term.
And I'll do
All
a
right.
quote.
Next one. Next quote.
October is the treasure of the year, and all the months pay bounty to her store. Paul Lawrence Dunbar.
So for rabbit holes, I, I don't want to talk about mine. You
That's
go
fine.
ahead. Mine's just
So,
about that game. I've had to learn how to play it, and it's really hard. It's really
okay.
hard. I thought I
All
was going
right.
to shoot zombies on a bridge. Carol doesn't ever want to hear about the game ever again. All right, go
No,
ahead.
I'm not going to get involved in the game.
Run away. Yeah,
Run as fast as you can the other
as
direction.
fast as you can. Yeah.
It reminds me of when people were going around and getting those, what is that? Pokemon Go. And people were just
Yeah,
obsessed with that. And you'd see them walking around with their phones trying to capture all these
I
Pokemon
actually
Goes.
played
And
a little Pokemon Go for a
I
little
did
bit,
not play Pokemon
but I
Go.
was bored. But you know why I did it? I did it so I would walk, and
Yeah.
it was good for that.
Yeah.
But you have to go all over the place to get those silly
Well,
Pokemon.
and there was a Harry Potter themed similar game that my somebody I knew was playing where you were I don't know exactly, but they even went to like a meetup of all these people that played this. I'm like, okay.
Well, I can see why. I mean, in this game, I thought I was just going to shoot zombies, and it's turned out to be all about working together as a group. It's very good. It's smart.
Okay.
Whoever came up with it is very intelligent. We played the Japanese last week. We fought them, and they were all the way in another server. It was wild. All right, moving on.
So I did read or listen to Peace Like a River by Leif Enger that you told me
Did you
last week.
like it?
I did like it. It was very good.
Beautifully written.
Beautifully written. And so I started the reading part because that's the book the library had. And then when the audiobook became available, I switched over to that. So I did research for
Didn't
this
he read
episode.
it?
Huh?
Didn't he read it?
I don't
I
know
don't
if
know
he
who
read it.
read
It was
it.
a man
Ah,
reading it. I don't
yeah,
know if he read it or not. I
I thought it.
mean,
Yeah, I don't know. It was
so
really, really good. He has a new one out. I
yeah.
can't
I
remember the
also
name of it
listened
right now.
to let's see, The Unusual Pilgrimage of Harold Fry
Huh.
by
Haven't heard of
Rachel
that one.
Joyce. It
Uh-huh.
takes place in Britain, and basically, a guy goes off to mail a letter. Just thought, you know what? I want to walk a little further. You know what? I'm going to walk a little further. You know what? I think I'm going to hand deliver this letter, which was 500 miles distance.
Wow.
And so he was newly retired, and just how it's actually pretty good.
That's
It is.
awesome.
It is pretty good.
So, garden commissions. Mine is I'm going to get that other flat of pansies planted. And I'm also going to do some bringing. My plan is this week to go around the kitchen garden, the potager,
Right.
and work really hard to get it cleaned up and get all the pots where they need to go and all that kind of stuff. Because we're not supposed to have a freeze till probably November this time. but you just never know. So you want to be prepared.
Right. I should have mentioned I got a text Thursday night from Courtney up at the greenhouse. She said, "Are we getting frost tomorrow morning?" And I said, "I don't think so. It was only going to be down in the mid 40s."
Mhm.
And I looked and it said, possibility if you were in a rural area or way eastern part of the county, which I'm in the central part of the county.
Right.
But son of a gun, Friday morning when I looked out, there was a
Did
little
you?
bit of frost on the rooftops. Not it. I don't
Down
think we
low.
ever got down low. And I went out
Yeah.
today and picked a bunch of peppers and they were all fine. But so if they're counting frost, I suppose that one counts. So
But we need to quickly talk about the fact that the earth is so warm that that's what kept the frost away from your actual
yes,
plants. And the roof is way up in the air, and that's why
yes.
it had frost. I mean, maybe that's obvious to people, but I think people don't understand how frost works. I think people are always really surprised to learn that pots are 2 zones colder than your zone. So that's why I have to decide what things I need to bring in. And the other thing is
Mhm.
the terracotta. I have to be really careful with some of my hand thrown terracotta. It's expensive and beautiful, and I don't want anything bad to happen to it.
I don't want anything bad to happen to it either. So in my garden, I'm planning to mow the lawn at some point this week.
Yeah.
They're coming tomorrow to shut down the irrigation system, so no more watering, but got to cut back more seed heads, water the container stuff that I want to keep going. At this point, I think the hummingbirds really are gone. There's not much point. There's a few bees hanging around.
There's a few
Um,
here, but not very many.
my credit card got charged for my bulb order, so those ought to be showing up here in a couple of days. I can start planting those. No
I'm
big
a
rush
month
though.
away. Just to give people an idea, I'm a month away from
Right.
bulbs coming. Okay.
I think I'm going to get the pelargoniums into the garage. I got a really nice spot all set up with this one area cleared off, and I got these boot trays to kind of keep them from sloshing water all over everything. I got a brand new light because I went
I'm
yesterday to the
impressed.
Toxaway because I took all the last of the fluorescent tubes to the Toxaway people, along with all the
Hmm.
old batteries, a couple things of paint. So I felt very, very noble.
Productive. Good Lord, you have been
Well,
productive
and that
this week.
Toxaway line, it takes, I'm like, we're all getting rid of these toxic chemicals, but we're driving through this line. It took me 40 minutes to get from when I got in the line to
Oh,
where I
wow.
dropped off my stuff because it's
Huh.
it's very popular.
Huh. We don't have one of those here. I mean,
Oh, you go, oh,
we have a place where we don't call it Toxaway, but we have a place to get rid of stuff,
it's the
sure.
in it they go around the city. It's a different Saturday in different locations of the city, and so
Look
second
how
Saturday for
organized
my
Indiana is.
yeah. So
I'm
anyway,
impressed.
and then as soon as you get home, you think there's
Dang
something I should
it.
have taken to Toxaway.
Should taken it away. Yeah, I do the same thing when I'm supposed to pull the trash up to the curb. All right. Are we through with garden commissions?
We are. We're ready for We Do Not Care. You pick which one, and we'll do the other one the next week.
Oh, I will just do the one you picked. All right, ready? You want me to read it or you want to read it?
You do it.
Okay. We do not care what we look like when we are gardening. We dress for comfort and tick protection. Bonus, no mosquitoes. How was
Very well
that?
done, Dee. I'm going to
Thank
wrap
you.
us up now. Thank you for listening to The Garden Angelist. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. We publish every week on Wednesdays at 12 a.m. Eastern Time.
And if you subscribe to our Substack newsletter, you get a link to listen to the podcast a whole day early and links to the products we discuss. Plus, if you'll go over to YouTube, you can see us in person. God help you. Full episodes show up on Tuesdays. So if you can't wait until Wednesday, you now have two ways to get us on Tuesday.
And if you want to help support us, use our affiliate links. If you buy something after clicking through on them, we're in a small commission. It costs you nothing.
Or you can set up a monthly subscription through Buzzsprout, or you can make a one-time donation through PayPal. You also have the option of pledging your support on Substack. We appreciate all of it.
Yes, thank you to everyone who has done so. It helps us pay for podcast hosting.
It was lovely to chat with you all over the Garden Gate. Bye until next week.
Bye, everybody.